Last week in Washougal, Washington's Ryan Villopoto defended his home turf and dealt another blow to Ryan Dungey's title hopes. Today at round 9, this series comes to Dungey's home state in Minnesota. Can a return to Spring Creek vault the KTM star back into the title fight? In the 250 class, a single point separates the contenders for the title. With 4 rounds remaining, it's a dead heat between KTM's Ken Roczen and Honda's Eli Tomac. The search for the upper hand in the points chase begins right now as Fuel TV brings you live motocross from Millville, Minnesota. And a huge crowd has gathered for the Red Bull Spring Creek National in Millville, Minnesota. And we're excited to bring it to you here live on Fuel TV. Welcome to one of the most loved tracks on this circuit. Jason Weigandt and 3-time Pro Motocross champion Jeff Hemming here as your host. This track truly has it all, and it should lead to some great racing today. We'll give you the 411 and show you the race format we'll be following. 2 classes, of course, race every weekend in the Lucas Oil Pro Motocross Championship. 450s and 250s. We'll start with the 450 class, and each class races 2 motos. Our second motos will come up later today on NBC and the NBC Sports Network. In each class, we'll combine the results of the 2 races to determine overall winners for the afternoon. So that's Motocross 411. That's how we go racing, and here's what we go racing on. It's your Kawasaki track map. Jeff, take us for a lap.
Just an awesome track here at Spring Creek. Gate's gonna drop. You're gonna go through the gearbox. Make a right-hand first turn. You get to this line first. You get those motorcyclesuperstore.com hole shot points. Go down through a really fast section of track, couple of jumps. Now you head into the infamous Millville sand whoops. These are deep, they're sandy, they get rough and gnarly. They're going to change throughout the day. Then you have to bust a 180 and do it all over again. Do a second set. Then you start to get up into the sections of the track that go up into the hills. Of course, this massive tabletop here where Chad Reed had that big crash. They call it the catapult these days. Down the hill, big time off camber right, little roller, this little Red Bull double, but it's really difficult because it's uphill. It's really steep there. This section of track's been taken out, so you're gonna go a left at the top, catch up at the tabletop, big drop off back down here through these S turns. Really going to be on the edge of the tire through here, cornering, really important to get that fast lap time. Now this section they've straightened out a little bit too. It's more of a chicane than this S turn, so it's going to be a little bit different. You're going to carry a little more speed up the hill, back down, hit some braking bumps, right hand over the Lucas Oil, finish line jump, another tabletop, and that's a lap at Spring Creek.
All right, what do you need to go fast here, Jeff? Give us the Rocky Mountain ATVMC keys to the race.
Well, Jason, this week I talked to the riders.
Okay.
Andrew Short says hole shot. Track position. He thinks the track's going to be fast, going to be hard to pass. So he said, I want to get off the start and get good track position. I enlisted the points leader, Ryan Villopoto. He says because the base of the track is a little harder than normal. You have to be smooth on the throttle here today to get those good lap times, keep you from making big mistakes in the turns.
That's a big change considering this track is normally known as one of the sandier, tackier ones. Big story that broke at our last race at Washougal, Washington. You're looking at Mike Alessi here. The start of our previous race, his brother, Jeff Alessi, was caught shining a laser light into the goggle lens of Ryan Villopoto, a potentially dangerous situation. And due to that, there have been some penalties toward Mike and the Moto Concepts Racing Smart Top team. Jeff Alessi is suspended from attending the races indefinitely. Tony Alessi, who's the father of Jeff and Mike and also the team manager for the squad, is suspended for the rest of the season. Mike was fined $10,000, and his points that earned out Yeah, Malcolm also had the laser light shot in his direction as well. So it looks like they're moving forward from that situation, and we'll do the same here. You'll see the progressive starting grid at the top, of the screen. This is key. These gate picks are all selected based on what happens in qualifying practice. Is this a track, Jeff, where gate pick is super critical? Some tracks seem to favor certain gates more than others.
I don't think so. I mean, certainly you don't want to be way out on the end of the of the start, but this is a long start. It's nice and flat. Is a nice sweeping first turn area. You can see our two points leaders there. Villopoto, the #2 with the red plate. Dungey, a reigning champion. They've elected to go to the right of the middle of the start. We call it the doghouse. There's no dogs in there. There's a guy that operates the gate. So to the right of the doghouse, and they're going to come straight up through here, try to make a nice, turn through the first turn, keep on the throttle, and grab that hole shot.
That 30-second card is about to go sideways, and we're about to go racing here at Millville, Minnesota. The riders have mentioned the track a little bit more hard-packed than usual, and the weather is certainly a lot cooler than usual. We're racing here in July. It's only about 70 degrees today. So it's going to be a wide open affair. Endurance probably not as big a factor. Let's see who's got the speed to get it done here at Spring Creek. And it's the Honda boys. Barsha on the 51 and his teammate Kennard on the 41. Barsha gets the motorcyclesuperstore.com hole shot.
And Josh Grant on that Toyota Yamaha, notorious for being great off the start. He was there on the outside. He got pushed off the track. And here come the two Ryans, first and second points.
Oh! Villopoto is down and down hard. And now he's in trouble because he's afraid if he gets back on the bike, the rest of the field's going to come through, might get hit. So he's got to be careful getting up. What happened there?
Wow. His feet came off the pegs big time. But look at the Honda teammates going at it. Local hero Ryan Dungey right there in third. James Stewart followed him, and then Andrew Short on that BTO KTM.
And Grant back in the mix. He mentioned he got bumped off the track. Obviously didn't lose much ground. Dungey going after Kennard now for the #2 position as they jump uphill.
Listen to the crowd here as they come down. They are definitely cheering on #1 here today. Their local hero. He needs something special. He needs a little bit of luck here today with that first lap crash of Ryan Villopoto. That may be just what Dungey needs to make up that big points deficit that he has.
And he's down by 42 points. Each race win in each moto pays 25, so a golden opportunity to make up a whole bunch. But first things first, he's got to try to get to the first place position, and that's not going to be easy. Barsha and Kennard are running strong right now on the Honda Muscle Milk machines.
Yeah, your fastest qualifier today was Villopoto at a 153.2. Kennard, he was fourth, 154, and Barsha, who's out front, was a 155. So, two riders, Dungey was a little bit off the pace. He was at 8th with the 155 also, but you can see he's picked up the pace now that it's race time.
And green flag flies. One lap is complete here at Millville. We'll run 30 minutes and 2 laps. That's the duration. Back across the starting line area. First good start we've seen from Kennard in a while. He has had all sorts of trouble with the starts last couple of motos. We'll see what the kid from Oklahoma can do with it as Barsha, the leader, tries to pull away.
Track is really smooth right now. It just because they didn't prepare it like they normally do, where they really rip it up and make it deep. It's a little bit more hard packed. So there's going to be some small square edge bumps out there, but not your big gnarly bumps, at least not at this point of the day. In the second moto, this track will be nasty. So right now, the track's really fast. With the temperature like it is, heat, you're not really worried about conserving your energy or worrying about overheating. This is all out, just completely go for it all the way to the finish line here today.
Yeah, it's interesting. In motocross, we oddly think of races such as this one in Minnesota and Redbud in Michigan as some of the hotter races because they take place right in the middle of summer. Almost every round this year has been unseasonably cool, and that is certainly the case today. It's probably a good 20 degrees cooler than it normally is, usually in the 90s. So that's it. Endurance maybe not so much of a factor. Track's been prepped a little bit differently.
Yeah, making me a little jealous as a former racer. I don't ever remember riding at this track where it was, under 90, 95 degrees. So they've got it good. But the thing is that if you're one of the riders that's in the best shape, you're counting on other riders to fade because of the heat, and you don't.
Let's go through this crash for Villopoto. Feet off the pegs and down.
It looks like he clipped his right foot. We're going to have another look at it. Watch to see if he clips his right foot when he scrubs the jump. Lands on the seat. He doesn't go down extremely hard, it doesn't look like, and he bounces up pretty quickly, heads right back to his bike.
He's at 28th place right now after that first lap. That could have been really bad.
28th place. He's 23 seconds off of the lead. So considering how gnarly that crash was, the fact that he's only lost 23 seconds to this point means that he's back up and going and has a good pace. Now, next time around for Villopoto, we'll get a lap time. Barsha, our leader, just turned a 1:57. Villopoto comes by in 26th at a 2:02.
What we're looking for him here is we stay with the field. You saw Alessi just go by on the white smart top bike. Derek Anderson, a 63, that Kawasaki, still waiting. There is Villopoto. And this is what old Ricky Carmichael used to call the smoking section, toward the back. Got to work his way to some clean air. As you said, 26th place. He just got around Carlson. That should put him in about 25th. Long way to go. What's the roost like out here? How much is vision going to be a factor? Is it a bad one here?
Not today, because it's not as muddy and deep as normal, but there is some sections where you do catch you know, some rocks, things like that. But overall, the track is in great condition. It's not quite as challenging as it normally is. But I tell you, like this downhill right here, if you accidentally blip the throttle a little bit when those braking bumps start, you could over jump that drop off, and it could be bad news for you, big time. So you do have to be smart on this track.
Well, hey, what happened to Dungey? You notice that Kennard no longer has pressure from him, and now James Stewart here in the Yoshimura Suzuki 7 is up to 3rd. So we thought it was going to be Dungey putting the press on the leaders. Instead, he has lost a little bit of ground. He is back to 4th with Andrew Short, the 5th place rider, right behind him. So Dungey must have made a mistake.
Yeah, I mean, Dungey was your 8th fastest qualifier today, so you could say, well, he's a little bit off the pace, but dropping that spot.
Uncharacteristic.
Uncharacteristic.
For your series champion and a rider who's won the last 3 450 overalls of this track. Justin Barsha getting away here early at Spring Creek.
The Lucas Oil Pro Motocross Championship on Fuel TV is brought to you by Rocky Mountain ATVMC.com, your one-stop shop for parts, apparel, and accessories. Rocky Mountain ATVMC.com. Get ready. And by Progressive Insurance, #1 in motorcycle insurance.
And there is Spring Creek. Kind of a cold weekend to go down there. Normally that place is jamming. that's normally hot. I'll tell you who is hot today so far. The Honda boys, Justin Barcia continuing to lead here at the Red Bull Spring Creek National, and his teammate Trey Canard right behind him.
Yeah, and they're followed very closely by Yoshimura Suzuki rider James Stewart right there. He just comes in the screen. This is a 3-rider battle for the lead. Neither rider has won a moto this year.
Barcia got the whole shot in this one. We'll give you the motorcyclesuperstore.com whole shot rules. At the end of the year, they'll hand out $25,000 to the rider that gets the most whole shot points in the 450 class. You earn those points by getting whole shots. That's what Barcia did here in this first moto. And by virtue of that, he has a lead over Canard and Stewart. And we're going to show you Barcia getting that start. And you'll see Canard was right behind him. You'll also see the Ryans, Villopoto and Dungey, but they both had their problems in this moto.
Yeah, well, look, red fender on the Honda. Justin Barcia, number 51. Josh Grant goes wide. Canard tries to sneak around the inside, but you can see as they come across that motorcyclesuperstore.com line that Barcia has the whole shot all by himself.
If you just joined us, you missed that Villopoto, your series points leader, went down about 2 corners after this.
Somebody went down there.
Yeah, not in this scrum here, but a few corners later. He is in 20th after being last, and Ryan Dungey made a mistake, bounced back to 4th. Barcia, by the way, now once again the points leader in the whole shot standings by grabbing that whole shot. Could be 25 grand for him at the end of the year, but I think at this point they're going to focus on the moto win. None of these 3 riders have won yet this year. Canard on the 41 is the meat in the proverbial sandwich, with Stewart going after him.
Oh, Stewart got a good drive on the outside right there. They both closed up on Barcia. Stewart goes to 2nd.
Canard's going to try to get him back around the outside. Stewart will be on the inside the next corner. Can Canard run it? No, not going to happen. And now Stewart to the inside of Barcia. Nice line by the number 7, and he might go all the way to the lead.
No. Outside, slow down a little bit. He overjumps. Just a little bit there, but Stewart definitely on the move. These riders have really dropped the lap times down into 156s now. So the track's starting to come around a little bit. Track's starting to get a little bit quicker.
Dungey is off the track, so he loses more ground. That's the 10 of Brayton right behind him. And Brayton, I believe, is just outside of the top 10, and that means they're not too far in front of Villopoto. Back to our leaders. It's still Barcia, Stewart, and Canard. This is great racing. You take the 2 Ryans out of it.
Stewart stalls
Stewart stalls. Manages to get a bump started, perhaps with an assist.
Yeah.
Because the bump provided by Canard. So they didn't lose too much ground there.
Yeah, you have to think that James Stewart sees this as a great opportunity. Looks like he feels great on the bike here today. Obviously knows his competitors, knows that how dominant Ryan Villopoto and Ryan Dungey have both been this season, winning every moto between the 2 of them. Stewart senses this is his opportunity and definitely putting in great effort and good lap times. That opportunity's right there, and both of the Honda riders stand in his way.
I think they're all sensing this opportunity. Stewart going after Canard for 2nd, and you see they didn't lose much ground to Barcia. Some of the longer shots, he's still right there despite that mistake from Stewart.
Okay, Jason, let's see as they come into the sand section. Going to go over this roller. This is where Villopoto went down. And watch Stewart. He goes to the right, carries all that momentum, switches back to the left, gets high in the gearbox, finds a smooth line, gets next to Canard.
He's got him. Got the pass made before they even got to the corner. They were side by side out of this turn the last time around. This time Stewart has the pass sealed and is free to go after Barcia.
That's a nice piece of riding there. He really has got those sand whoops dialed in here today. Not bouncing up and down, just getting right on top. And you really have to make sure that you are not, that you don't have the revs of the bike too high. You want the RPM to be really low so the bike drives across the top and doesn't hit that rev limiter, and then the front wheel tends to drop. So Stewart on the move. Such a cool section. Oh, look at this, jumping into the up face, using the power of the engine to pull himself up over that double.
I was going to comment, same thing last time around. This section of the track, Canard seems a little bit faster than Stewart, and this is where they came together. This next turn, one lap ago.
Oh, look at the
Canard inside.
Normally, this section's got some pretty good ruts in it. You can see the riders just sliding the back of the bike around right there. Both riders really laying down a stripe off the rear tire. Canard gets a little too much throttle, coming out of the turn, but didn't really seem to lose that much time.
He's still right there, and so is Barsha. And Josh Grant is now 4th. They've got 9 seconds on him. Short 5th, Tickle 6th, Sipe 7th. Weimer, Reed, and Malcolm Stewart are now in the top 10. Dungey is 11th. Villopoto is 16th.
This soil here at Spring Creek reminds me a lot of how Oklahoma is. That's where Trey Kennard is from. That's what the type of soil that he rides on, on a normal weekly basis. So maybe it just has that feel for this soil. Bike set up good.
That feel for everybody. They say that Stewart's compound down in Florida isn't too far removed from this, and he's not far removed from the lead. He goes past Barsha, same spot he got Kennard.
What a line. Look at it, and pulled a couple of bike links even.
Oh, but Barsha comes right back down the inside. They call him Bam Bam for a reason. He'll fight you for it. The line doesn't pay off at the end of the section, so Stewart has gotten past both of the Honda riders and is in the lead. Opportunity is there for one of these 3 riders to get their first Moto win of the year, because the Ryans have had their mistakes so far today. Stay with us. Welcome back to Spring Creek here, live motocross coverage on Fuel TV. A great battle for the lead. James Stewart, Justin Barsha, Trey Kennard are going at it here in Moto 1. I want to remind you that after the Demetrius Johnson and John Moraga World Flyweight Championship, the exclusive post-fight coverage begins on Fuel TV. Live, it's the UFC post-fight show tonight at 10 Eastern only on Fuel TV. And we have a fight for the #1 spot. Jeff, the way Stewart got by Barsha and Kennard in the whoops, he thought he would take off, but I think the rest of the track, the Honda boys got some lines dialed in.
Yeah, they look great on the rest of the track. They had the line choice going through those sand whoops was not right. You noticed as we came back from break, they all were using the same section through the sand.
Yep, they switched it up.
Yep, picked up on the line.
Okay, so here is Alessi, and we're showing him because he's in a battle right now that is actually a critical juncture in this race. He's battling Malcolm Stewart for 10th, but not too far behind him. You see the green bike of your Shuri's points leader, Ryan Villopoto, who is down on the first lap of this one and last. So Villopoto is 12th, Stewart on the 32, Lucas Oil Traley Honda 11th, Alessi's 10th.
Yeah, and you would think for Ryan Dungey this would have been a golden opportunity. He had that problem. He had dropped back as far as 10. Now he's already back up to 8, so he's making his way back forward in the leaderboard.
Now before we went to break, we had the replay of what happened to Dungey. His bike was stopped. What do you think happened there?
Well, the fact that he got back going, it's hard to speculate, but sometimes through that sand section, you get one of those big round rocks, maybe gets in the shifter, in the chain and sprocket area, something maybe stalled the bike out. Like I said, it's hard to really speculate, but the thing is, he's back and going. Nothing's wrong with the bike. It's going to cost him a little bit of time.
Well, it's been managing the mistakes. It's really been the theme this year for the Ryans. They've had a few, but they haven't really had bad results. Let's look at Ryan Villopoto's season so far.
Yeah, I mean, 10-time champion Ricky Carmichael has said that you win titles on your bad days. And so for Ryan Villopoto, he's done just that. He's had a couple of 4th place finishes. This is Muddy Creek, goes down on the first lap, comes back to 4th. This is Southwick. He's done the first turn pileup off to your left. Gets back going, gets in another pileup on the first lap. Goes down, gets back up, manages to get a 4th. Ryan Dungey, on the other hand, who's always been Mr. Consistent. Seems like he never finishes off the podium. He's won 3 overalls, but only 4 moto wins to go along with that. But hadn't been off the podium until Redbud Moto 1 has a problem with the KTM. The bike DNFs. Villopoto wins, so he loses 25 points to Villopoto in that moto. Then He's got a great second moto going, has this massive crash where he was running second, bike falls on him, still manages, after Stewart gets by, still manages a third. So great damage control out of both riders.
So far, but today it's been a lot rougher on them with Dungey running in 8th and Villopoto in 12th. And these 3 riders rallying to try to get their first moto win of the season. Stewart, your leader. Barsha, 2nd. Kennard, 3rd. And we're past that Geico 15-minute mark. So I can remind you, in 15 minutes, you can save 15% or more on your car insurance or your motorcycle insurance. That countdown clock now 9 minutes, 38 seconds left in this. And then we'll throw out the 2 laps to go board. Plenty of time left, and we're both theorizing track a little smoother than usual today, weather a little bit cooler. These guys should be fresh when that 2-lap board comes out.
Yeah, you could tell there is the weather, heat, none of that stuff is affecting them at all. It is just pure speed right now. All 3 riders seem to be evenly matched. All 3 are turning at 156. As the track gets a little bit rougher in spots and we get into more lap traffic, we'll see if that plays a part in how this finishes off. But Stewart finally managed to grab just a little bit of gap here over second.
All right, we'll see if Barsha or Kennard can rebound and get another hook in the number 7, or is Stewart going to deliver his first moto win of the year? Stay with us. We're back here, Lucas Oil Pro Motocross Championship at Spring Creek. Give a shout out to Josh Grant, who's really rallied in the second half of this championship. Running 4th right now on the JGR Toyota Yamaha. Reminder, you can catch an all-new UFC tonight. It's the official source of news and information on the UFC with hosts Cale Sonnen and Kenny Florian, Tuesday at 10 Eastern. Powered by Ram Trucks and only on Fuel TV. We're talking about Grant here in the 33. Let's send it down to Kelly with more on him.
Yeah, tremendous effort here from Josh Grant running in 4th. He told me that at Washougal last weekend he started feeling a little bit under the weather. It turned out he had a double ear infection, so he didn't get any riding in all week between feeling sick from that and some rain he had back at home. So He said he feels still a little bit under the weather, a little bit down on energy, but he really didn't want to let it affect him here today. He said he had to have a good start. He said here at this track, he's gone down in the first turn so much. He just wanted to stay up. He did it this time, and now he's running well within the top 5.
Yeah, thanks, Kelly. He barely kept it up on 2 wheels.
That's
he went outside the track off the start. But having a double ear infection, the thing that you always have to worry about with that is it affecting your equilibrium and your balance. So looks like they've got all of that cleared up. Sometimes when you have that week off and you don't get a chance to ride that much, it actually gives your body a chance to recover. So you're maybe a little more energized when you come to the race. So it can be a blessing at times also.
Dungey started to get back in the mix now. He is 7th, has Short right in front of him, and what happened there? He just walked right by Short. That's leaving the door open.
Yeah, Short made a little mistake and missed his line. And Dungey definitely took advantage of that. Dungey, so that'll put him up to 6th now, turning at 156. Our leaders are at 156. Currently, Dungey's about 25 seconds off of the leader.
Okay, so behind this group, which is Tickle in yellow on the number 20, he is 5th. Dungey 6th. Short now 7th. Now it's the Kawasaki boys, and it looks like Villopoto has got around his teammate Weimer to move up to 8th. So how about this? Trouble for both Villopoto and Dungey, and they are not far away from each other on the track at this point.
Yeah, and we had mentioned there in that piece that Villopoto's worst finish this season had been a 4th. He had done that twice, doing it similar to what he's doing now, having to ride through the pack. Today, it might be a little tougher to get that 4th place because right now, he's 32 seconds off of the lead. And Grant sits in 4th, and he's 14 seconds off the lead.
Well, allow me to throw a theory at
seconds.
you. The track we're saying isn't ripped up. It's not as deep and rough as it normally is. A lot of times riders say the faster tracks don't separate the skill level as much. Do you think that might be a factor, that this track, it doesn't allow a rider like Villopoto to gain as much? It's not quite as rough?
Because it's faster.
No.
I would say that it more has to do with the cool weather and that taking that fitness element, maybe decreasing the importance of it. I'm not saying it's not important or that the track's not rough, but it's not as important as on a super hot day where right now you're just, you're really hating it physically.
Yeah, and that's where Villopoto and Dungey often do their best damage in those conditions. Go back to your leader, James Stewart. Still not off the hook. Barsha is 2nd, only 1.5 seconds behind him. And then Kennard only about a 2nd further back. So one little mistake out of Stewart, and it could change in a hurry. Remember, Stewart appeared to have a moto win in hand at Southwick about a month ago and crashed all by himself out front. So Barsha knows if he keeps the heat on, it could pay off. They are close.
Yeah, Stewart also had that issue at High Point when he was leading. So the pressure is on now. Stewart's been in this a position before. The crowd here at Spring Creek being treated to an awesome race.
Oh, yeah.
I'm sure that they anticipated this being Brian Dungey and Ryan Villopoto. I know I did. But this is awesome to see these 3 riders here out front battling like this.
All right, we're within the 2-minute warning, and then we'll have 2 laps to go. So about 4 laps, I'd say, for Barsha and Kennard to try to make something happen. And they are still in the picture. This is going to be a fantastic finish at Spring Creek. The motivation is obvious. It would be the first moto win of the year for any of these 3 riders. Who's going to be the one to take it? Stay with us from Millville. is on for the lead. Trey Kennard trying to get James Stewart for the #1 spot here at Spring Creek. Justin Barsha was in second about half a lap ago. Barsha had a gnarly near crash, managed to save it. He's still third as these two furiously go at it for the #1 spot.
They have been side by side for a quarter of the track. Stewart slams the door. Kennard, oh, here he is trying to get an inside line there. Kennard feeling the flow right now. He is really aggressive, and he has picked off his teammate Barsha. Look at him just cutting the lines, trying to get power to the rear tire.
He can go anywhere he wants and manage to stay right with Stewart, who edges him off to the left side of the track again. Stewart doing a good job riding defensively, shutting the door.
The fans here are going nuts. Unbelievable action. Kennard seems to go outside, inside. Stewart seems to block the line. Now this is the finish line jump that Jason just talked about. Last lap around, Barsha comes over that completely sideways, gives up second position. Kennard's taking advantage of that. Now he's put all the pressure on Stewart. And Kennard also has a different line through the sand whoops. Let's see if he can jump in there and block Stewart's line.
It's amazing how much the track has changed. Remember these sand whoops? That's where Stewart made the pass on Kennard about 20 minutes ago. Now Kennard might be the faster rider through it. Let's see how the lines play out.
Oh, Stewart goes back to the inside and blocks it. They both are going to... Now Stewart's switching his line up. Kennard sticking with his original line.
He's close, though. In fact, they're side by side, and there's a lap rider. Stewart's going to have to deal with that and Kennard at the same time. And there's not enough room for Kennard to thread the needle.
Wow. Okay, Kennard was really quick through here last time around. Back to the inside. They got close.
It was the Russian Mikolov, by the way, who they had to lap through the sandwich. Wow. Kennard again pulls up beside Stewart. Now he'll be on the inside. They're going to jump downhill.
I didn't think it was possible for anyone to scrub the bike lower and harder than what Stewart does. Kennard all over the place right now. I have not seen him ride this aggressive and on this much of the edge all season long. So a Honda rider definitely has things dialed in here at Spring Creek, and Stewart so far has withstood the storm.
As Stewart has put the bike everywhere Kennard wants to go. Just blocking him right now. It's not dirty, it's just good racecraft. Kennard trying to find some different lines. We have a lap and a half to go in this one.
See Stewart right there, he hugged the inside. Kennard just really working it hard over the jumps right there. Watch this line, see if he gets any. Nope, didn't get the drive next to him there.
We're headed back toward the finish line area. They actually funneled in together on the outside of this corner. They're approaching. Now Kennard dives to the inside. One lap to go. It is going to be an all-out sprint. We're about 2 minutes away from the finish in this one. They have left Barsha behind, which is understandable. Barsha had a big near crash, probably backed it down just a little bit. So it's one-on-one. Who will be the first rider, not named Villopoto or Dungey, to get a Moto win this year?
Watch this, Kennard scrubs right through here. Watch this time he makes up, gets next to Stewart. They're going to switch lines. Kennard goes wide. Let's see if he gets any run coming to the left side. Loses a little time going in.
That inside that Stewart has been using has worked this entire race. Kennard's able to pull up next to him at the end of the section. Outside line still doesn't work.
Wow, those sand whoops are difficult because they're a little bit of hard base under there this year, and there's a lot of little ruts in there that could really cause you to lose your balance. Kennard back to the inside. It's going to be close.
They have been side by side over these jumps last couple laps. Yeah, he had Stewart's rear wheel in his face.
Sorry, Jason. He had to check up right there. He had so much speed coming into that tabletop. He had to straighten out, or he would have jumped right underneath into the back of James Stewart.
Back uphill we go. They're jumping into the face of the takeoff of that double. Does Kennard have anything else picked out?
Well, it's pretty tight from here until the end of, until you get to the finish line. Stewart has a little bit of breathing room. Look at Kennard just cutting right across the turn.
Well, he's got to get desperate now. A few little mistakes. Stewart has got about maybe 5-10 bike lengths on him. We'll see if Kennard can close it back up.
He's trying, but just not close enough.
Stewart's been at this game a long time. He's been pro since 2002. He has been through some wars, and he was able to put the bike everywhere Kennard wanted to make a pass on him.
Let's see if this works.
Last corner. Stewart is going to be on the inside. Last time, he was on the outside. And Stewart holds on to take the Moto win. Kennard right next to him. And a thumbs up to each other. Great racing right down to the checkered flag. Barsha is going to take third. Now we put our focus back on the title contenders. Look how close they are. Dungey is in 5th behind Grant. And Villopoto's in 6th.
Looks like Dungey's going to have to settle for this, and Villopoto will, in 6th, will be his worst finish of the year. But wow, what great damage control for both of our points leaders after having tremendous setbacks.
And what a battle. There's Brent, the mechanic for Kennard. He's pumped. Great ride for Kennard to finish 2nd. And certainly the Stewart camp is happy to finally have gotten a moto win. He's been rallying as of late, but on the podium the last couple of motos. Now he's going to be in the center of it when we return. We're back here live on Fuel TV. We'll remind you that this series returns. It's the Built Ford Tough Unadilla National live on August the 10th. A little bit of time off, Lucas Oil Pro Motocross Championship, and then we'll be racing again there at the legendary track in upstate New York. And let's send it down to Kelly with a, I'm sure, very happy first moto winner. Kelly?
Well, James Stewart has been consistently on the podium as of late, but your first moto win of the season. James, does this feel like a long time coming?
I mean, yeah, I mean, especially for me, my family, my team, my fans, it's definitely nice. I had to work for that. Had a good pace going in the beginning, and when I got out front, it's been a while since I've been up there actually leading the race. Got a little tight, but Trey rode good. I couldn't tell who it was. I think he got around Justin and saw some of my lines. I had some good lines in the beginning, but I was just waiting for something bad to happen, but it's nice not to.
Talk about that battle with Trey that lasted up until the final corner. How tough was it to defend him?
Well, it was tough. You know, when I was in 2nd place, it was almost a little bit like when he would break, I would get into it. And good job, Sean. Thank you. He would break, and I knew it was a little bit easier, but hey, a win's a win, and at this point, that's all I could take right now.
All right, a late birthday present for Dad. Congratulations, James.
Only a week late, so it's all right.
Oh, yeah, happy birthday again there, Big James. They've got to be happy. Kennard is going to carry some momentum also into that 2nd moto. That was a furious finish, and should be interesting to see if the Ryans can bounce back, because Stewart's got some momentum now.
Yeah, and what was interesting also, when you look at the lap times, the leaders out front with those 156s, they were consistent every lap. So great crowd on hand to see that, and they're going to have a great 2nd moto coming up.
You know, I don't know if it makes it a little bit more sweeter when the wins don't come as often as they used to. So far, almost 2 months of racing. Stewart family, they're pumped. They finally got one. Maybe the best moto we've seen so far this year. Justin Barsha, Trey Kennard, James Stewart battling it out all the way to the checkered flag. Look how close it was between the 7 and the 41 at the line. And I think Kennard's just happy finishing 2nd, and Stewart was taking the win. Let's find out. Send it down to Kelly.
Earlier today, Trey Kennard told me this is as good as he's felt all season, and it certainly showed. I know you would have liked to be on the winning end of things, but how fun was that battle with James Stewart?
All the way to the end. You know, it doesn't get much better than that. Only, you know, getting the win would be better, but, you know, I'm just grateful to be here. I haven't had a race like that this season, and just grateful for the whole Moto Honda team and the Lord Jesus Christ. I'm grateful. It's fun to be racing, and hopefully I can continue to keep going and get that win before the series is over.
Yeah, you said you love this place, this track here at Millville. How do you take this solid finish here 2nd and bring it into a good result in Moto 2?
I don't know. I think gate position is going to help a lot. I think you know, getting confidence and getting a good start with Justin, that was huge. Both of our bikes were up front, and I think that's a big booster, and hopefully we can carry that into Moto 2, and that's going to help a ton.
Great job. Thanks, Trey.
Thank you.
Let's share the upcoming TV schedule here, the Lucas Oil Pro Motocross Championship. Our 2nd 450 moto will be live on NBC at 2 Eastern today. So you can flip over to that after one more hour of racing here on Fuel TV. And then our 2nd 250 moto will be on the NBC Sports Network. Get a little time off, then we'll be back with this championship at Unadilla on Fuel TV and the NBC Sports Network on the 10th of August. Let's send it back down to Kelly.
Justin Barsha got the whole shot. You held on for a podium finish. You said you had to make some big changes headed into this moto. Were you happy with where the bike's at now?
Yeah, definitely. No, the team did a great job. The whole Honda Muscle Milk guys, they got the bike better. I've been struggling a lot, so that was great. Got off to a great start. You know, I want to win bad, and those guys were going really fast. It was a good race. Almost tossed it away there towards the end, but good race, and it was fun.
All right, thank you, Justin.
Well, it was an awesome race. So let's show you the recap. Honda boys are up front at the start. Villopoto goes down. This is all in the first lap.
That could have been really bad. He manages to get back on the bike, loses about 25 seconds, and was working his way back through the pack. Now Dungey needs to pick up the points. He gets a rock possibly in the sprocket. A lot of rocks in this sand section. Gets the bike back going again, but he loses about 20 seconds also.
Then Stewart goes for the lead. This line through the sand whoops, he passed Kennard for second, then gets first from Barcia.
Now Barcia, he put up a pretty good fight. Gets back to the inside of Stewart momentarily. But in the background in third was Trey Kennard. He kept on the throttle. He kept pressuring Stewart. This is at the finish line.
Last corner of the race, as they negotiated together, Stewart wins by about half a bike length. And also a good ride in fourth place, Josh Grant. Let's send it back down to Kelly.
Solid effort considering he's still recovering from that double ear infection. For you, Josh, was this fourth place finish a success given everything you've been through the last week?
Yeah, no, definitely. You know, this week was a little bit of a struggle for us, but you know, my whole goal was to come out here and try to get top 5, and you know, anything better than that was a bonus. So I'm just really fortunate, just glad that you know, at the end of this year we're coming down and I'm riding better and better. So looking forward to the next few rounds, and hopefully we can get JGR Toyota Yamaha on the podium.
All right, thanks, Josh.
In motocross, it's all about the rough terrain, and there might not be any terrain rougher than the famous sand whoops of Millville, Minnesota. Over a football field in length, it'll leave the riders' legs and lungs burning. And then they've got to do a 180-degree turn and do it all again. Live motocross coming up next. He is Ryan Villopoto, and he's writing a resume that will place him among the greatest American motocross riders ever. He's on his way to his second 450 championship, and he's accomplishing this feat amidst a deep field of riders with their own championship pedigrees. The thrilling, spectacular, and unpredictable nature of pro motocross is on display right now, live on NBC. From Millville, Minnesota, it's round 9 of the Lucas Oil Pro Motocross Championship, sanctioned by AMA Pro Racing. It's the Red Bull Spring Creek National. Hello, everyone. Jason Wygant, joined by 3-time Pro Motocross champion Jeff Emig at a racetrack that many of the riders call their favorite. It has every different type of terrain you could expect on a motocross track wrapped into one. It seems to work very well for Ryan Dungey, a Minnesota native who has won the 450 class here the last 3 years. And he needs a win today because Ryan Villopoto is 42 points ahead of Dungey in the series standings. And Villopoto won his home race in the state of Washington last weekend. Dungey needs to turn it around today. Big crowd on hand. This is certainly one of the most exciting events, and we just completed a spectacular first moto about an hour earlier. We'll take you through it, and there were problems for both of the Ryans, Dungey and Villopoto. Whole shot goes to Justin Barcia, the number 51.
Yeah, Barcia gets out front as the other riders mid-pack get caught up in a big pileup, and this is the first lap. Villopoto clips his right foot, goes flying off the bike, manages to hang on and hold it on going down to the ground. He would remount after losing 25 seconds. Dungey has problems, possibly a rock stuck in the chain, the rear wheel, something. He loses 20 seconds. He would get back going. Both riders would have to ride through the pack.
So with both Ryans so far back, the battle for the lead, it's Barcia against James Stewart.
And look at this line that James Stewart has. Goes outside to inside, flies by Barcia, and steals the lead. And you thought with that type of speed, as Barcia tries to get him back, this Stewart would be gone. But no, the pair of Honda riders kept the pressure on.
Barcia made a mistake in second. That put Kennard in the 41 into the number 2 spot. And here we go, right down to the line. Kennard tried to make the pass, comes up about half a bike length short. Stewart takes his first moto win of the season. And through all the traffic, Dungey ends up 5th, Villopoto 6th. That was a wild one. And after it, Kelly caught up with our winner, James Stewart.
Well, James Stewart picked up his first moto win of the season in Moto 1 here at Millville. But James, your two biggest competitors, Ryan Dungey and Ryan Villopoto, both had issues in that moto. If they have a clean race here in Moto 2, do you still have the speed to pull off another win?
Yeah, it's my job to race against the best. And, you know, unfortunately, I've had my times where I was on the ground. So, you know, I'm sure they'll be back up there. They'll be upset after the first moto. But, you know, I take a win as a win for us, and it's nice to get it. I don't think anybody's battled like that all year to the end. So me and Trey, to go 36 minutes and be 0.2 seconds close to each other is going to be gnarly. So it should be good. Some
weather's moved in, some strong winds, a bit of rain. How do you expect that to affect things?
Look at that face. I don't care. It just is what it is. I mean, I'm sure both Ryans. I'm sure Ryan Villopoto, he probably don't like the rain, but me, I don't really care. It doesn't matter. Rain, shine. I've got a job to do. Let's see if we can go do it.
All right. He pulls off the rain much better than me, guys.
He's pretty happy about that. And the Stewart family's a lot of reason to be happy. They got a moto win. Brother Malcolm running strong in the 450 class this year as well.
Yeah, was 12th in the first moto, has had better finishes than that, but been an outstanding ride here for this Troy Lee Red Bull Honda team.
Certainly opening a lot of eyes. James Stewart's younger brother Malcolm in his first full season in the 450 class.
Me and James growing up together, it was kind of hard though because we were 7 years different, so we didn't really get to spend too much time, you know. We kind of spent more time when I started, you know, getting to pro. And basically from there, it's just got that brother bond. It's kind of late, but oh well. We ride at the house and stuff like that, but when you're behind a gate, you know, it's a different kind of feeling, and you know, little brother always wants to beat big brother, so that's definitely one of my goals. But I want to do it straight up, you know. I don't want to do it, you know, if he crashes or anything. So I'm definitely looking forward to that moment, and just gonna keep moving for that.
Okay, those are some of the riders we'll be watching in this one. Let's get to our Kawasaki track map and show you what Millville, Minnesota's Spring Creek is all about. Jeff?
Well, it was great and smooth earlier in the day. Qualifying was nice. Now we've had two motos. First moto the 450, first moto the 250 on this track. Gonna be rougher off the start. You go through the motorcyclesuperstore.com hole shot. Now through a section of jumps into the famous sand whoops of Spring Creek. They're gonna be gnarly. There's a hard base to the track today. It's not as soft and deep as usual. There's a lot of small edges out there that can catch your tires, give you problems. Come back around to the famous tabletop here where a few years ago Chad Reed had that massive crash just after he passes for the lead. They call that the catapult. Hill section, this little roller, and then this Red Bull double is gonna be really tough. Now the top of this has changed a little bit. Right after that double, you're gonna make a left and catch back up to this tabletop and go down the hill. This downhill and this following drop-off is going to be really difficult today in this second moto as the track's gotten rougher and those braking bumps are really starting to get big. This section has changed a little bit too. Straighten it out. You're going to go up the hill, make a left, come down a rough and nasty downhill, make a right-hand turn over the Lucas Oil finish line jump, and that's another lap at Spring Creek.
Ryan Villopoto trying to bounce back from that 6th in the first moto earlier today. You see the GoPro camera on the top of the helmet. We've got some footage from that from our practice session this morning.
Well, this is the jump where he crashed in the first moto. You scrub that to get into the sand whoops. See him jump right through there, kind of tripled through, gets hard on the throttle, leaning back. And one thing through the sand whoops, you want to make sure that you have the bike at gear high. You do not want it to over rev. He is really good through this section. I guarantee these sand whoops do not look this nice and easy now for Moto 2 is what they did here in qualifying. All right, gonna make a right-hand sweeper up over the catapult. Check out the airtime on this. Massive tabletop.
And we'll go back to the starting line. We have one other story to cover, and this is a bizarre one. Last week, we were racing in Washougal, Washington. Mike Alessi's brother, here's Alessi on the 800 Smart Top Moto Concepts machine. His brother, Jeff, was actually shining a laser light into the goggle lens, into the eyes of Ryan Villopoto when the race began. That is obviously unsportsmanlike conduct. That is not legal, and the rider takes responsibility for his team, so penalties have been handed out. Jeff Alessi has been suspended from attending races indefinitely. Tony Alessi, who's Jeff and Mike's father and the team manager for the squad, he is suspended for the rest of the year. Mike has to pay a $10,000 fine, and all the championship points Mike earned last week are removed from his series total.
Yeah, so, well, I think those penalties fit the crime, and Mike declined to comment with us earlier today. It's obvious that he's just trying to put this behind him and look forward, get to some racing.
Well, Mike is known for good starts. To see if he can get one here. We'll give you the whole shot rules here. MotorcycleSuperstore.com putting up $25,000 for the rider that gets the most hole shots throughout the year. They'll collect points for each hole shot. A hole shot is who crosses this scaffolding just outside of the first turn on the first lap of the race. We'll see if Mike, who is known for good starts, can grab one here. Starts so critical, especially considering how shaken up things were in the first moto. Dungey and Villopoto only 5th and 6th, and they were the favorites.
Yeah, it was really tough. Riders like Mike Alessi, who typically gets great starts, he was 11th in Moto 1, but a hole shot could really change the outcome of Moto 2 and the overall day for him.
And we will combine the results of that first race and this one to determine today's champion. Riders down right out of the gate, and James Stewart out of the gate with the MotorcycleSuperstore.com hole shot. Dungey right behind him on the number 1.
Followed by Josh Grant. It looks like a BTO Sports KTM rider. They've got 3 riders in the field, not sure which one that is.
Grant goes after Dungey and takes it away from him on the JGR Toyota Yamaha, and then goes down, and down hard in the whoops.
Alessi goes over Grant's bike. Oh, look at the body language there of Josh Grant from California. He knows he threw away a golden opportunity with that great start here in Moto 2.
Well, it's hard to get back on the bike early. So much traffic going by. You don't want to get hit. Here is Kennard and Barsha. So spectacular in our first race earlier today. 41 and 51 are up toward the front again. And where is Villopoto on the number 2? Just came by about 10th.
Another mid-pack start for Ryan Villopoto. This is going to give James Stewart here, number 7 on that Yoshimura Suzuki, the yellow bike, give him a clear track. He's got the reigning champion, Ryan Dungey, Minnesota native, 2nd, just behind him. Now they will have a little bit of breathing room with Ryan Villopoto being stuck back mid-pack.
There is Kennard in 3rd, Alessi 4th, Barsha 5th, and it's Justin Brayton in blue on the number 10 in 6th. As they all jump downhill together, Barsha trying to work Alessi.
Jason, it still seems like there's a little bit of rain coming down, not a lot.
Barsha makes the move on Alessi. That'll put him into 4th place.
Not a lot. Actually, the little bit of rain that we had is really only going to make the track better. You can still see it's pretty loose. The dirt's not entirely wet. It's not super dry and dusty. So a little more rain, the track might even be a little better than now.
All right, we'll see how that affects things. A little bit further back, you have Brayton coming through. There is Villopoto battling with his teammate. The number 12 is Jake Weimer. Both on Monster Energy Kawasaki's. Villopoto around the outside makes the pass.
I've never seen anyone make as many passes on the outside as Ryan Villopoto does. He is just fearless when it comes to carrying speed and just having the intuition and the instinct to know where the rider on the inside is going to be, and if he can time it, if he has enough momentum to go around the outside. He loves to ride those wide lines.
Next on his list will be Malcolm Stewart, who we showed you earlier on the Lucas Oil Troy Lee Honda, number 32. Stewart is 9th, Villopoto 10th, and it's Chad Reed, former series champ on the 22, ahead of them at 8th. So Villopoto's got a lot of work to do right now.
He does, but he has the speed, he has the fitness, he has been the dominant. Oh! Another rider down. That looks like Justin Brayton, Toyota Yamaha. He's gone down at the end of the first whoop section.
And again, it's so hard to get up early in the race because there's so much traffic. You don't want to pick the bike up and get run into. Packed, funneling together here. Reed, Stewart, Andrew Short on the 29, and Villopoto.
Some big bumps there on the outside line where Villopoto was. The Kawasaki underneath of him was jumping around, but he still manages to take the spot from Short. Villopoto on the move.
He's got to get aggressive when everyone's close early. That's where he can make passes when they're in bunches. Stewart going after Reed. Reed is in the number 9 spot. Stewart 10th. Villopoto right behind them.
Reed there riding for the team that he owns himself. He's in the red and yellow gear. Malcolm Stewart, who we featured earlier, he's in the white and blue gear.
Stewart has about 7/10 of a lead, by the way, on Dungey, who is back to second. Remember, he had his hands full that battle with Josh Grant, who went down. Kennard, Barsha, Alessi, top 5. Everyone's actually moved to position 4 now that Brayton had that crash. Here is Dungey, who is close right to the rear tire of Stewart for the #1 spot.
Well, this is quite a bit different than Moto 1, where Dungey had started in front of Stewart. And Stewart made the pass, Dungey made the mistakes, had the problems, went backwards, ended up finishing 5th.
And we'll just give you a brief here as it works. We again combine the results of the first race from earlier today. Stewart had a 1st, Dungey had a 5th. If Dungey passes Stewart and wins this one, a 5 and a 1 on the day is not going to beat Stewart, as Stewart has a 1st and a 2nd. So a real strategy game here. This entire pack could potentially play spoilers, such as Barsha on the 51, who's a very close 3rd, and Kennard, who's in 4th.
Barsha was 3rd in Moto 1, Kennard 2nd. So the scoring here going to be very tight.
Yes.
As this Moto we're 25 minutes left in this Moto here to determine the overall winner.
After that 25-minute mark, see the countdown clock, top of the screen. They'll bust out the 2 laps to go board, and then it'll be a mad sprint to the finish. It was a good one earlier between Kennard and Stewart. Now you have Dungey in the fight. Barsha is there. Villopoto is back in 8th.
Focus on Barsha right here. Red Honda, blue and yellow gear. Last lap around, Barsha was at a 1:58. Everyone else was 2 minutes or above. So Barsha had the speed last lap around. Now it looks like his teammate right here, 41, Trey Kennard, has found some speed. And we know from earlier today in Moto 1, Kennard is feeling the flow here at this track. He was riding his bike absolutely to the edge, giving James Stewart everything he could. Came up just a little bit short.
This is the opportunity everyone has been waiting for. The Ryans are a bit off their game. Who will take advantage? Perhaps James Stewart will win his 1st overall of the year. Welcome back, Lucas Oil Pro Motocross Championship from Minnesota, and we got a battle on our hands. James Stewart, the #7, is your leader. Ryan Dungey is the home state native, and he wants that #1 spot.
Well, he needs desperately to grab that full 25 points by taking the win, especially with Villopoto riding back in the mid-pack right now. Stewart doing such a great job of fending off the charge of Dungey, just like he did with Kennard in Moto 1.
Oh, Dungey down to the inside, and Stewart has it covered again.
Oh, Dungey to the inside.
Dungey's got it. That was a surprise. There was barely any room there at all, and Dungey just tucked that Red Bull KTM in there and grabs it, and you hear the crowd come to life as their native son has grabbed the lead. The last 5 times Dungey has raced at this track, he has won the overall, 2 in the 250 class, and the last 3 times here in the 450s. Take us through it.
Yeah, watch the replay here. Stewart, he's got this in hand, and watch right here, goes just a little wide. He goes inside, not inside enough. Dungey having that knowledge, knowing that if you can get the bike turned and stay low, get on the gas, you can hold that inside line. He really took advantage of that. Now let's see what sort of lead Dungey can pull. And I mean, he needs to get on the gas because Villopoto running in 5th, he's running 159s. Dungey flying with a 158 now, but still got company from Stewart and Barsha and Kennard.
And Grant is out. Remember, he passed Dungey for 2nd in the 1st lap of this race and then crashed. He and his mechanic Ben are headed back to the JGR Toyota Yamaha pits. Dungey, 5th in Moto 1. He's going to need some help. He's going to need some riders to bump Stewart back to have a shot at the overall. There's Stewart, Barsha, Kennard. And now we find Ryan Villopoto in 5th, followed by Alessi on the Smart Top Moto Concepts machine in 6th. So Alessi just out of this battle right now. You know Villopoto's going for a little mistake in the whoops. Front wheel full locked. He just ignores that and powers forward.
The little swap again right there.
Again, and now down. That was a rough trip through the sand wash for Villopoto, and Alessi goes by him. Uncharacteristic mistakes from your series points leader all day long. And meanwhile, we hear Stewart has repassed Dungey. So while we were watching Villopoto going down, Stewart takes the lead back. We got battles all over the track.
This is great riding here by #7, the yellow bike, Yoshimura Suzuki and James Stewart. wow, really has come alive here and felt the confidence. And remember, Stewart is one of only 2 riders who have ever won every moto in a championship in this championship. Of course, Stewart did it in 2008. He's riding for Kawasaki, and greatest of all time, Ricky Carmichael, he did it twice.
Well, people were starting to theorize 5 years ago Stewart did that. He has been good, but not as spectacular as we expect with him this year. People are wondering, is time passing him by? It's proving that's not the case today. Here is the repass for the lead. He gets back around Dungey.
Well, that's back in the sand whoops. Dungey maybe just not expecting Stewart to be that close to him, and Stewart just draws a line to the inside in that big sand bull turn. Takes the lead. And it's nice to be out front. You don't take the roost on.
And the Honda riders are still right there. Barsha and Kennard, the Muscle Milk boys, they're feeling it. The top 4 in the same straightaway in the first half of this one. Into the sand whoops goes Barsha. He might be the fastest rider in this group. He and Stewart just pulled 1:59 lap times. Dungey at 2:01. Let's send it down to Kelly with more on Barsha in 3rd place.
Well, it was a bit of a rough start for Justin Barsha. He was really unhappy with his bike after practice and basically had to take a chance and make some big changes heading into Moto 1. He had the whole shot in Moto 1 and ended up on the podium in 3rd place. He's running 3rd again here. Now, consider this. A week ago during practice, before the race at Washougal, he injured his right index finger. That's his throttle hand. Turns out he raced through it, went to the doctor, they found a fracture in it. So he actually has a broken bone in there. It's taped up. He said there's a little bit of pain, but he's riding through it and doing a great job of it today.
Yeah, no doubt. And meanwhile, Dungey comes back on Stewart, to take over the lead.
Watch this outside, though. It's been really good all day. Oh, no, Dungey clean. Finds a new rut in that turn, but how about the action?
Unbelievable.
I mean, Barsha, broken bone in his right index finger. Doesn't matter.
No. I think that's adrenaline is answering the call for all these guys. They've surely got their aches and pains. Villopoto's been down a bunch here. He's trying to move forward. Dungey gets back around Stewart. We're going to show you the whole shot here. MotorcycleSuperstore.com. Points on the line.
Look as they come through the first turn. James Stewart, Yoshimura Suzuki, he has this all by himself. Look at that, over a bike link.
And then Josh Grant was able to get around Dungey for 2nd here early, but it did not last.
Watch what happens here. He comes into this. Oh, he gets a little sideways going in. Stuffs the front wheel. Oh, lands on his back pretty hard. Alessi goes over his bike.
And Stewart, who started the year off with spectacular starts, then had a little lull and has now gotten them back, is your season points leader in the whole shot standings, looking to make $25,000 at the end of the year from MotorcycleSuperstore.com. Dungey's not worried about that. He needs this moto win and the points that come with it. Into the sand whoops we go. This time he's got Stewart covered. Ryan Dungey trying to win a moto in front of his home state fans. On NBC and the NBC Sports Network, we have got live coverage here of the Lucas Oil Pro Motocross Championship. Ryan Dungey out of Belle Plaine, Minnesota, about an hour and a half from Millville, Minnesota, the site of this racetrack, leading the way. And you see the countdown clock top of the screen. 12 minutes and 2 laps to go. I want to remind you that in 15 minutes, you could save 15% or more on your car insurance by calling Geico. The lead is big, but not massive for Dungey.
Yeah, and with the 5th in Moto 1, even if Dungey wins this moto, it's going to be tough. There's going to be a lot of things that have to happen, especially where Stewart, Barsha, and Kennard are, and Villopoto right here, for Dungey to win the overall. But Dungey has won 5 straight races here at Spring Creek across both classes. We ride the 250 and the 450, dating back to 2008 when he captured the 250 class the first time. So 5 straight overall wins. Disastrous first moto, damage control up to 5th. Now he's dominating Moto 2.
There is a streak in jeopardy. Dungey might win this moto, but not the overall. But it's not been a good day for his championship rival, Villopoto, either. He's got back around Alessi. Alessi on the 800 back to 6th. Then Malcolm Stewart, 12th in Moto 1, 7th here in Moto 2. So again, the Stewart family has to be happy about the performance of their young men today. Let's send it down to Kelly with more on the 32.
Well, the team's happy. Malcolm's certainly happy. He said this has been a dream come true for him. He's just happy to be out here. Remember, this ride came together in the 11th hour. He thought he'd have a long summer break. He's come out here, switched up to the 450 class, and he said that this 450 bike suits him a lot better. It fits him a lot better than the 250. Now, Malcolm is 6 feet tall, weighs 185 pounds. Compare that to the defending 250 champion, Blake Baggett. He's 5'7", 132 pounds, so you can imagine how a guy of Malcolm's stature might feel more comfortable on the bigger bike.
50 pounds heavier than the riders he used to race in the 250 class. And this is a big deal for Malcolm because the team he was riding for this year, called a J-Star JDR KTM, that team closed its doors, and he was going to be without a ride. He didn't think he'd even be able to race the Lucas Oil Pro Motocross Championship. Rider for this Lucas Oil team got hurt, Christian Craig. They picked up Malcolm and has been a superb pickup. He has delivered great results. Just behind him, you'll see the 22 of Chad Reed. It has been a mighty struggle for the 2009 Series champ out of Australia on the Discount Tire 22 Motorsports Honda. But he has been getting better and better in the top 10 at least. He was struggling to even be top 20 early in the year, but he's got some bad memories at this racetrack.
Well, he won here in 2009, but let's flash back.
2011.
2011.
This is a wild ride, as wild as it gets.
Just took the lead from Villopoto, hits a little square edge, loses control of the front end, gets catapulted off the bike.
And somehow, some way, gets up unhurt, rejoins the race, and finished it. Left that day as your series points leader, but the mental strain of that big crash, he was not the same rider the rest of that year. Villopoto was eventually able to get around him and win the series championship. This year, Reed has struggled with knee injuries and an illness. He's definitely better than he was at the beginning of the year, but Chad Reed not going to be happy in 8th. And here he is rounding the corner to what is now called the Catapult, because Chad catapulted off it 2 years ago.
No problem. Takes the left hand off, adjusts the helmet a little bit. Could pull a tear off. Nice smooth ride, just trying to build that foundation again, trying to get himself comfortable, working with the team, get the bike right for him. And you know, it's interesting, you hear about these riders testing and working on the bike, and you know, so does that mean like the bike is bad? No, the bike's not bad. It's just the bikes have to be tailor fit to each rider's need, and each rider has a different feel. They want something different, and how the bike to be set up different for them to perform at their best.
Speaking of that, Andrew Short here, 9th place, GTOsports.com, KTM, battling with Jake Weimer. That's for 9th and 10th. Weimer, the Monster Energy Kawasaki. Short says he has had to work on softening the suspension of the bike. Most riders like it stiffer, stiffer, stiffer. He says he feels more comfortable now they have it softer than before. He's running inside the top 10. We'll be right back. Ryan Dungey leading this race in front of the home state fans. A lot of people here remember Dungey as a young rider working his way through the ranks. But where the amateur talent goes to get discovered and get pro rides is the AMA Amateur National, brought to you by Red Bull at Loretta Lynn Ranch. And this year, for the first time ever, it's coming up live on television next Saturday with 2 straight hours of coverage on NBC.
Loretta Lynn is all kids, but it really separates the men from the boys. It was funny because all the guys that I'd battle against on the local level, you could tell when you got to Loretta's who could handle the pressure, who couldn't. Guys like Justin Buckaloo, James Stewart. I mean, even Jeremy McGrath won his first national championship down there in the beginner class, Loretta Lynn.
From a sport perspective and a fan perspective, it's an iconic gathering of the greatest amateur motocross athletes, you know, that our country and even some other countries have to offer.
It was the race to go to. That's where all the team managers go. It's like a training camp, scout your talent. It's at Loretta's. That's where everybody's at.
Careers have been made and a little bit broken there. Names have come out of nowhere and become instant heroes.
For me, Loretta Lynn's was the biggest stepping stone from taking a sport that was all about fun to taking it to be a family and be a lifestyle and eventually to be a job.
Loretta Lynn's, that's where the best of the best prove themselves. Dungey, Stewart, Kennard, Barsha, Villopoto, they have all won championships there as kids. They've moved on to the top of the pro ranks. Check it out, Red Bull Signature Series. That's next Saturday, 3 p.m. Eastern. Myself, Jeff, and Kelly will be there to give you all the coverage First time ever we've had live racing from the ranch on television. Here are your event points here at Millville. As we mentioned, the bad first moto for Dungey, where he only finished 5th. That's going to cost him. As it runs right now, he'll finish 2nd overall today behind Stewart. But he will make up 10 championship points on Villopoto if it were to end as it is right now.
Yeah, look at that. That minus 16 there for Villopoto. That's off of the lead. But this other streak that's in jeopardy here today is that Ryan Villopoto is the only rider in the championship to win a moto at every round. Didn't win Moto 1. He's 9.6 seconds off the lead right now with a really strong field just in front of him. So that streak of winning at least one moto at every round this year is in jeopardy for Ryan Villopoto.
Man, can you put your finger on what has changed for Stewart the last couple of weeks? He has had a couple of thirds and a couple of seconds, a moto win, maybe an overall. He has really turned it around, and he's distanced himself a bit from Barcia and Kennard. Stewart on a roll here. Let's go back to Barcia. We'll hold that thought on Stewart in a second because he's got some company. Villopoto trying to work his way through the Honda riders. Each position is 2 points in the championship, so Villopoto's got some motivation. Take you back here. It's Alessi. That's a lap rider, the 621 that Alessi's trying to deal with.
Yeah, Martin there. He looked behind him, trying to see where the lead group is. Doesn't want to affect the race for the lead here.
All right, we've got it situated. Barcia made a mistake. Kennard is in 3rd, Villopoto in 4th. So they have gotten around Barcia, both Kennard and Villopoto. Here is Villopoto. Time running out. You see the countdown clock, top of the screen, 2 minutes. And then the 2-lap board will come out. So
off the side of the track. If you're going to go off, that's a good place to go off. He never even shut off the throttle. Wow.
So only about 3 laps left in this one. Villopoto has climbed his way up to 4th despite the bad start. He's in front of Alessi and Barcia. Does he have time to get Kennard, who is in 3rd?
He was about 0.8 of a second quicker than Trey Kennard last lap around. About 3 seconds behind him right now. He's going to go hard all the way to the finish, but he also, you know, the way that the day's been going, he doesn't want to make any more mistakes.
Well, it's been said, you win the championship on your bad days. This has been the worst one so far for Villopoto. He's in full salvage mode right now, trying to grab every point he can. We have a battle brewing for the number 2 position here in Millville, Minnesota. Ryan Dungey in the Red Bull KTM has this moto win fairly well assured. It's only a 4-second gap with 2.5 laps to go. The real battle is right behind him, and they are pushing each other hard. James Stewart and Trey Kennard, and Kennard has made the pass. Kennard to the 41 into 2nd place.
Kennard doing what he couldn't accomplish in Moto 1, and that was to get past Stewart and make it stick. Let's see if James Stewart, the former winner, 4 times he's won at this track, if he can mount a charge here with 2 laps to go and take another overall.
It looks like Stewart wants to get him back. Oh, he comes up a little short on that finish line jump. A little mistake. They cross lines. They're going from outside to inside, working every inch of this track. When we total up the points for both motos today, Kennard will come up 1 point short of Stewart for the overall unless something else changes. If Dungey has a problem, whoa! Stewart almost had a problem. Nearly went down as they head into the woods.
Oh, Stewart with a good drive right now. Can't make anything of it, but if Stewart can't finish this moto off for Suzuki, it will break a tie for the brands. Kawasaki has 7 wins. Suzuki has 7 wins in this class. A win today would give Suzuki the edge.
And Stewart doing everything he can to get Kennard back. They're in lap traffic. It's Michael Byrne. They're putting a lap down. Here's that big catapult triple jump. And they'll follow it with an even bigger triple jump uphill.
Whoa.
And Stewart gets it back.
Oh, they touch.
Wow.
Stewart tries to run Kennard wide. Kennard stays in it, was unfazed.
I cannot believe Kennard was able to thread the needle between Stewart's bike and the outside of the track and stay on it. And he does.
Stewart doesn't need this position for the overall.
It almost seems like he doesn't know. He's racing Kennard so hard for this spot. Racers are racers, man. You put a position in front of them and they want it. What a battle.
Another rider going lap down.
Stewart's going to try to cross lines with Kennard again. He's going to go to the inside here in this left-hander. Remember, that's where Dungey got him earlier. He learned that. And try to put it to work. A lap and a half to go here at Millville. And while these two push the pace in second, they are closing up just a bit on Dungey. The lead was nearly 5 seconds. It's now down to 4. Stewart bounces to the outside. Going to try the outside again here in this right-hand turn. White flag is out. 1 lap to go.
1 lap to go, and Stewart, any little mistake, if he loses any time, Ryan Villopoto, who sets in 4th, is only 3 seconds off. So a big mistake, a fall, possibly a slide out, could allow Villopoto to get up there. Oh, Stewart goes for it. Kennard takes him wide. He's off the track.
Kennard's off the track, and that might allow Stewart to get him. Kennard re-enters, and the ruling is, if you enter the track without gaining an advantage, it's legal. That was close. Kennard would essentially have to stay in the position that he was in when he left the track, and they were basically dead even. That's going to be a tough call. Look how close they are to Dungey now in the final lap. And you see Villopoto, the green fender, lurking back there. If Villopoto passes Stewart, the overall win for the day goes to Kennard. So they both got to keep pushing to the finish.
Stewart hanging on right now. You know, that opportunity to win the overall, it has been a while for him since last year.
They drop back downhill. Dungey, a half a lap remaining to try to win the Moto. He's going to come up short of the overall win when you combine the results, unless this battle for second place results in a crash or a mistake from the 41 or the 7.
And well, as the championship is winding down, even though it's not a big, not a lot of points, as it is right now, Dungey will finish in front of Villopoto, both motos.
Yes.
So taking points away from your championship points leader.
Dungey was down 42 points to Villopoto coming into today's racing. He's going to make up about 10 points on him, or thereabouts. So make up about a quarter of the gap that he needs to get. And there will be 3 rounds of racing left in 2013 when this one is over. As far as this moto is concerned, it's just about over. The KTM people on the side of the track are happy. Dungey rebounds, 5th in Moto 1, and he wins in front of his home state fans in Moto 2. And Kennard hangs on to beat Stewart for 2nd. Does he think he won the overall? I think he might. Well, he might be confused here. Stewart's 3rd place should be enough to edge him by a point. We'll have to sort out the math when we get back to Spring Creek. We're sorting it out here in the 450 class.
Yes.
James Stewart appears to have the overall win. Let's send it down to Kelly.
A nice day for James Stewart. He gets his first overall win of the season. James, it was a 1-3 on the day. Good enough for overall. It seems like you've really come on strong here in these last few rounds. What's been the difference?
You know, I've been getting good starts. Out of Yoshimura, Suzuki pulled another whole shot, and it's been a long time coming. I felt like I rode better in second behind Dungey, and I made a couple mistakes, and he pulled, and it was one of those tracks that it was easy to follow somebody, and Trey made me work for it. That's 2 30-minute motos just bar to bar, and it was fun. So once I realized that the last lap I had a gap over 4th place, I was like, dude, I'm gonna soak this in because it's been such a while. So I got to thank my fans, all you guys out there supporting me. It's been special. My whole team, Yoshimura, Suzuki, Red Bull, 7 Gear, Toyota Escondido, Oakley, everybody. I'm so happy right now.
All right, congratulations.
Thank you.
That is Stewart's first win since the 2nd round of racing last year, so it's been about 15 months. He's a happy young man. We are back. A crowd has gathered at the podium. James Stewart has the overall win, but it was certainly exciting 2nd and 3rd as well, so let's send it back down to Kelly.
A fantastic day for Trey Kennard, a 2-2 for the Oklahoma kid, 2nd overall. How tough were those battles, though, with James Stewart?
It was really tough. I battled as hard as I could. I thought that was for the overall. So I was fist pumping over the finish, but man, a great day for me, great starts, and I felt like I rode good and strong, and I'm thankful for it.
Great effort. And Ryan Dungey recovers from a tough Moto 1 to win Moto 2 in front of your home crowd. How special is that?
Special, you know, that first Moto could have been disastrous just with a DNF. The chain came off in the back, and I ended up putting it on myself, and I couldn't believe it stayed. But, you know, to this second Moto, we made some changes. Team Red Bull KTM doing an awesome job, and just try to ride good laps. It wasn't very hot today, you know, but the competition was tough, and they didn't make it easy, and the track was rough. So it's good to get a win the second one, and we made some ground today, but more importantly, we're safe, and look forward to the weekend off and get ready for the last 3.
Thank you, Ryan.
Wow, big swing of momentum. Dungey making up ground, as he said in the points on Villopoto, had a tough day. We're going to take it through it. First, Josh Grant passes Dungey early in this one and then goes down hard. Dungey would take over the number 2 position, then go after Stewart for the lead.
Villopoto, yeah, he had his problems here. Goes down, loses the spot. There's Michael Alessi, goes around on the outside.
Here's your battle. Dungey just sneaks inside of Stewart to take over the number 1 spot. Then Stewart would repass Dungey.
Passing back in the sand, and it looked like Stewart was on his way to another Moto win, but Dungey just would not be denied this win here. Watch this. Passes, they go down the off camber. Dungey's going to square him back up right here, get some traction, and go right up the inside, and he would hold the lead.
And he would win the Moto, but has troubles in a Moto 1. 5th there. Doesn't have enough points when you total up both races. Stewart wins the overall, his first of the season. Here is the final points tabulation on the day. Kennard 1 point short of Stewart to get a bonus point for that first Moto win, and that's what allows Stewart to get the win. Villopoto only 4th. Not going to be happy about that. Well, a big day of racing here at Spring Creek. 3 races remain in this championship. Hope you can join us on the NBC Sports Network for our 250 race coming up right after this. For Kelly Stavis and Jeff Emig, I'm Jason Wygant. Congratulations to our second Moto winner, Ryan Dungey, and our overall winner, James Stewart.